morning. I'm pleased to be your moderator for this session. And it's going to be more practical session because I believe that a lot of people want to hear now about how to make our business a little bit more circular. The agenda for this session is the success case of circular economy business. And we have 4 panelists here from leading organizations to share with us the experience that you have. So let me tee up a little bit before we get into the questions. From my experience being consultant in the field of corporate sustainability, I have to admit that circular economy is one of very few topics that being discussed in the boardroom. And we know from the Deputy Prime Minister, we heard from Peter Backer about the challenges. So it is the change necessarily are going to be huge. And if we truly want to move towards a sustainable future, and for this topic, circular economy, incremental improvement in operational efficiency, or doing more with less, improving our productivity, are not going to be enough. So today we want to hear from you more about how we're going to make this successful in doing business. Because you're going to share experience, definitely you're going to talk about circular practices, but we also want to hear about how to enhance the business competitiveness through circular economy. So today we have 4 distinguished guests from world leading organizations, as I mentioned before. Start with Dr. Antoine from Michelin, Surendra from Dupont, Jeff from Dow, andณธนวงศ์ from SCG Packaging. Okay, let me start with the first basic questions. Because when we see business are doing circular economy, they're not doing just because they want to be circular. So the first basic question that I want to hear from each panelist is, why are we doing this? And what are we trying to achieve by becoming more circular? And importantly, if you have practice that going on already in your business, perhaps you can show us. Okay, so let's start with Dr. Antoine from Michelin. Please, over to you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me today and for representing the Michelin Group. Michelin is quite well known. The Michelin Group is quite well known in Thailand. Actually, we are producing tires and selling tires, but we are also providing services and solutions and also experiences. As you know, we decided to launch the Michelin Guide in Bangkok last year. So we are not only a producer or manufacturer of tires, but what is the most important is that Thailand is a key country for Michelin. You know that Michelin is in Thailand for almost 30 years, thanks to the joint venture with the Siam Cement Group in 1987. And today, we are producing every kind of tires, steel cords and composites in 6 factories. Sorry. It's okay? Yeah, okay. So in 6 factories. So we have a huge presence, and in addition to that, we have our headquarters for East Asia, based in Bangkok, in Thailand. And we care. We care about the Thai economy. We care about the social development of Thailand. And we care about the environment in Thailand. And today is quite obvious. Thailand is facing the same challenges than the world. Air pollution, deforestation, species extinction, soil degradation, overpopulation. To be clear, the world has finite natural resources and we cannot continue to waste them. That's why we need efforts to transform the Thai economy in a more sustainable way. And for that purpose, the circular economy is a tool. I think Peter mentioned the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. Michelin is part of it, and the circular economy has been defined by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation with 3 key principles: design out waste and pollution, keep products and materials in use, and regenerate natural system. What is key here is that the circular economy is only a means to an end. It's not a goal in itself. That's why I would like to come back to the ultimate goal, to the DNA, to the strategy of the Michelin Group to understand how the circular economy is integrated in the Michelin strategy. And it's quite clear. Michelin would like to continue to promote, to offer to people a better way forward, all the while decoupling the growth in mobility from the use of natural resources. In other words, it's a way for us to promote sustainable growth in all the pillars of our activities: tires, services and solutions, experiences, and also high-tech materials. High-tech materials is absolutely key. I will come back on that. What is our strategy when it comes to circular economy? First of all, it's quite obvious. With the prospect of more than 2 billion vehicles by 2050, we have no choice. Mobility must become safer and cleaner and more efficient. And for us, all the value chain is concerned. Natural rubber plantation, manufacturing, tires, end-of-life tires. But the most important thing for us is tires. More than 90% of our CO2 emissions are related to tires. That's why it's absolutely key to the use of the product. So we decided to design, to elaborate what we called a 4R strategy: reduce, reuse, recycle, renewable. Reduce is probably the most important, the most critical component of the circularity. Why? Because you cannot, if your tire is not eco-design, it will be almost impossible to maximize resources efficiency. So you have to eco-design your tires in order to promote a sustainable mobility. Reuse. Reuse, for sure, for us, is absolutely key. In Thailand, for instance, a tire with an initial life of 250,000 kilometers can be used up to 500,000 kilometers by being retreated 2 times and by regrooving once. So it's key. We are able to extend the life of our tires. Recycle. Recycle is also important for us. During the last Moving On, in last June 2018, Moving On is a summit dedicated to sustainable mobility that Michelin organized for almost 20 years. We made a commitment. By 2048, all the Michelin tires will use 800% of sustainable materials, and 100% of our tires will be recycled. So it's absolutely a commitment for the coming years. And renewable, it concerns all the value chain, especially the natural rubber plantation. And just to give you the example that we have decided to launch an agreement with WWF to fight against deforestation. And this strategy, we are implementing this strategy in Thailand for our tires and for our manufacturing activities. For our tires, I just underlined that the eco-design is key. And we developed for 3 years in our research and development team a tire called Primacy 4 that we launched just last week in Thailand. And this tire will provide you long-lasting performances and also tires which is safe when new and safe when worn, with a life extension of the tire. So it's also key for us. And for the manufacturing, we have, as I told you, 6 factories. We are trying to push for solar rooftop in our factory in Nankei. We are able, for instance, for our factory in Rayong, all the waste water is recycled and reused in the factory. Now, let's imagine the future, just a dream. Imagine a future when your tire is also a wheel with no air, with a biometric structure inspired by nature. Let's imagine a world in which the tread can be filled up by a 3D printer with all the components which are biodegradable. Imagine a future in which your tire is connected to your vehicle and your vehicle can communicate with it. This future, Michelin has imagined it, and this is the new visionary concept of Michelin tires in the coming years, airless, rechargeable, 3D printed organic tires developed from biosourced, biodegradable materials. So to answer to your question, what is key for us? Circular economy is a driver for innovation, and it's a way to promote our sustainable mobility growth.
Thank you very much, Dr. Andre. So we very clear for Michelin, I think two key messages that we have learned from him. One is promoting sustainable growth through circular economy. And the second one, I think you have introduced us the 4R model, which has been applied throughout, operation where you are in the world. Thank you very much. So now, Surendra, can you tell us a little bit about Dupont?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and thanks the SAG Group for invitation to share the Dupont success stories in the circular economy. If you see and read the Dupont history, it's a 200-year-old company. And if you see the transformation of the Dupont from gunpowder manufacturing to now today, they are really moving towards a more bio-efficient the raw materials and moving towards a more using renewable resources to make the biomaterial. In the circular economy, the innovation is the key part, and if you see the history of the Dupont, we really brought a lot of innovative technologies in this world, which makes our life easier. Also everyone mentioned about the collaboration, and the collaborative work together will make circular economy successful. And if you see also in the Dupont, we really have a lot of good collaborations with the big companies. Like in the home care companies, we make the protease enzymes, which is a cold water efficiency they give, which you can reduce the energy, reduce the water consumption. That's one example. Second example, we recently joined the joint venture with the ADM to make FDME product, which is a bioplastic. So now everyone is concerned about the plastic biodegradability. So the industry is moving and trying to collaborate to make a biodegradable plastic. So we have come out with the joint venture. So our approach, it's not only to produce a product, but it's a whole, like what it shows here, use, make, use, and return, and that makes our circular economy successful in this world. So both is recycle and renewable is a material for the pillars, but it's not only the recycle and renewable, but using the land very efficiently, using whatever the resources available more efficiently. I think that will make our circular economy more successful in the coming years. So this is the great example I would like to share. This technology is already commercialized globally, which everyone might be knowing about the 1,3-propanediol. That's a bioPDO, which is processed from chemical process. But the Dupont has really changed chemical process to the bio-efficient process. We are using here the raw material as a plant source, not the chemical source, and we mix the bioPDO polymer, and that polymer basically used to make Sarona fiber. So which is Surendra fiber? You can make the all apparels and the carpets and everywhere you can use this fiber as well as this biodegradable bio-PDO. So Surendra fiber has a 37% biodegradability. So you can see that and you can imagine that, if you really bring the innovation technology, you can make it, happen this circular economy very successful. And we are really collaborated with a lot of the carpet manufacturers, big apparel houses to make this Surendra fiber, which is really efficient way to produce and as well as really help the life of the consumer. More and more, if you really start seeing the 17 Sustainable Development Goal, Mr. Peter has mentioned and showed us, and we see that most of the corporate houses are aligning their goals and objectives with these sustainable goals. And similarly, the Dupont is also have some of the sustainable goals aligned with the global, the sustainable goals. So one is the reducing the food waste. How can the Dupont is really working in this sustainable goal is that if you see today, 30 million metric ton food waste goes, which is equivalent to 1.3 billion the million metric ton annually, and 1 trillion in dollar terms. So we really brings our products, our enzymes, as well as the bio-based packaging material, which can help, to increase the shelf life of the product. You can really extract a lot of the things from the fruit and juices, which you can avoid the wastage of that. Lactose-free dairy products, as well as increase the shelf life of the bread like. So that basically helps you to reduce the waste, and that way you can really get into a circular economy. And the second is the zero hunger, so we really, last 30 years, we are working very closely with the animal protein manufacturers, to support them, to help them, how we can really extract and give them more efficient nutrients to the animal so that the animal can grow faster, animal can really extract, whatever the nutrients they get it from their substrate. And we can give the more healthier solution to our consumer. So that's the few examples. The Dupont is really working on that. And the end, it's again, I'm repeating, every speaker talks about that, to make really to circular economy successful. I think we have, and we need to collaborative solution across the industry. NGOs needs to work together, brand owners, government, as not and least, but the people and the consumer, they need to really work together to make this circular economy successful. Thank you.
Thank you. So we heard from Surendra maybe two key things. One is collaborative approach in your business ecosystem. Without that, definitely you cannot reduce food waste or cannot come up with the very innovative products. The second area is the use of recycled and renewable material to advance technology that you own. Thank you very much. So Jeff, Dow.
All right, thank you, everyone. I'm Jeff Wooster from Dow. Let me just answer the first question that you posed, and that's why do we need circular economy? Why are we here? Well, you heard Peter Bakker say that we don't have enough resources on this planet to meet our current or future needs. This is a very, very serious issue, not just for our society and for our planet, but for all of our companies, because we need to manufacture products using resources and energy, and if we don't have enough resources and energy, our company will have to shut down. We don't want to shut our company down. I'm sure none of you want to shut your companies down. So it's a very serious issue, and we take it very seriously. And circular economy is one of the ways that we can help increase our availability of resources to manufacture materials. Instead of losing those resources, we'll keep them in the economy by making better use of them over and over again. Dow's been working on sustainability for a long, long time. We're now in the position where we want to be a leader. So we want to exhibit leadership and help develop a blueprint. I'll tell you in a few minutes one of the projects we're working on where we're trying to establish a blueprint so that people can learn from what we've already learned and take advantage of those learnings and that information to implement a circular economy in countries throughout the world and in companies throughout the world. You'll see listed on the bottom of this page are 2025 sustainability goals that cover the 10-year period from 2015 to 2025. And right listed on that list is advancing a circular economy. So we take it very seriously. We've got several priority areas that we're working on. That includes how we manufacture our materials, how we design our materials, and how we design the way that our materials are used. So we make plastics for packaging, and we like to design our packaging to be more recyclable, to have better performance in use, to help protect food from spoiling, to help protect the resources of the goods that are inside those packages, and to make sure that we can reclaim those materials after they've been used and reuse the resources again. We're also working on cleanup and prevention for marine debris. We know that plastics in the environment is a very serious issue and a very serious threat to the entire industry. We're working on that. We invite all of you that are in the plastics business to collaborate with us and work together to that end. We also think that innovation is very, very important. We've got to have new technologies. We've got to have new business models to be able to implement a more circular economy and improve the way that we use our resources in order to make sure that our company and our planet are more sustainable going forward. There are lots and lots of environmental issues that we face. Climate change, you heard about that already, a resource shortage, ocean litter. We have to remember, though, that when we're trying to solve one of these problems, we can't forget about the other problems. So we don't want to try to implement a solution for one that makes one of the others much worse. We've got to think about the big picture. We've got to think how we implement solutions that fix issues of marine debris without negatively impacting climate change, without causing us to use up more of our limited and scarce resources. So it's important that we take a big picture view when thinking about these environmental issues. An example of that is with plastics. So many people like to say that plastics are bad materials. You heard Peter Bacher say plastics are indispensable. We think they're very, very important for lots of different applications. And in fact, if we replaced plastics with other materials, for every single application where we use plastics, it would have 4 times the environmental burden that plastics have. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have improvements that we need to make for the way plastics are handled at the end of life. It doesn't mean that we can't improve their recycling rates. It doesn't mean that we can't improve the efficiency with which they're manufactured. All of those things are very, very important, but it's also important to recognize the value that they bring, and to do that with good scientific understanding, like the report shown on the screen here from TrueCost. If we got rid of plastics and used other materials for packaging, we'd use 80% more energy and 130% more greenhouse gas emissions. That's not something that we want to take responsibility for. But we do need to make sure that we solve the negative issues so that we can continue to use plastics for the good things where they're intended. Here are a few of our innovation technologies that we're rolling out to the marketplace. The first one is our Hefty Energy Bag program. This is a collection system for collecting difficult to recycle plastics. It's operated in several communities in the United States. And it's a way to collect materials that otherwise go uncollected. So taking things out of the landfill, out of the regular trash, putting them into a recovery system so that we can capture their value, whether it be for energy, for recycling, for transformation into new chemicals and new plastics. In the top middle is the technology to make stand-up pouches recyclable. Most stand-up pouches today are not recyclable, but we have technologies that allow us to make them recyclable through the use of compatibilizers to make different types of materials compatible with each other so that they can be recycled, so it expands the world of recycling. And that's broadly covered by our Recycle Ready technology. You see the logo on the slide. We also have an all polyethylene pouch that allows for easier recyclability. We work with an organization called the Sustainable Packaging Coalition to label products so that consumers know what to do with them. It's not enough to design a product to be recyclable. You have to actually collect it and put it back into the system to take advantage of the resource. And so we're doing that through consumer education. And that looks different in different countries. So in Thailand and throughout the Southeast Asia region, different types of consumer communication programs are in place to help educate people about what to do with their packaging when they're done with it. And then we've shown one of our new technologies, our Pack Expert technology, that allows a flexible package to replace a rigid packaging in order to improve resource efficiency. We also have a very important project that we've run now 2 successful pilots of, which is taking plastic waste, things that would end up in the landfill or probably in the environment if they're not collected and managed properly. We're taking those and incorporating them into asphalt in order to build more durable roads. So we're making roads that last longer. We're displacing the use of virgin feedstock or virgin raw material in the production of those roads, and we're creating a valuable end use for what would otherwise have been waste. You'll be hearing more about this as we continue to scale up these efforts going forward. We also support research. We think it's important to have the right level of scientific understanding, and we work with a number of different NGOs, universities, and other partners to help support research in the area of recycling and materials management. And we really have a vision that we hope all of you will share, and that is that all those materials that are currently going to waste can go into the recycling collection system and be made into valuable products. If they can't be made into valuable products, they can be converted into other types of products or used as an energy resource. But it's important that we capture the value from everything we make and keep it from going to the environment. That's it for me. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Very interesting approach in the whole circular value chain that you have described. We will definitely get back to you on the Dow 2025 sustainability goal because I think definitely people want to learn from that. Okay, คุณธนวงศ์ครับ what you have been doing already to even enhance the packaging business to be more circular?
Okay, thank you. And good morning. Before I start, please allow me to share, our short video presentation that can give you an idea what we're doing now for the circular economy. And after that, I will elaborate more. So please.
Manufacturing industry has continuously grown due to increasing demand of consumer goods, resulting in derived demands of paper packaging for containing and transporting, discarding them carelessly with other waste and without the right way of processing and separating. The paper packaging has no values at the end of the cycle. Do you know that you can add value to these paper packaging? Packaging business in SCG aims to reduce, reuse, and recycle throughout all processes. In terms of raw materials, we collect used packaging and recovered paper to recycling process from many channels. We also develop mobile application to facilitate waste paper collection process from distribution centers, retail stores, and households. In addition, we educate consumers on the value of waste paper as well as how to sort and bring it to recycling process. This will reduce using new resources. We effectively utilize resources by adopting data visibility technology for data optimization. This system allows every plant to share and co-utilize data to support the most effective resources management, ordering, and production management. We recognize the value of resources, so we manage resources efficiently, both water and energy, throughout the production process. By applying the anaerobic water treatment, we can bring treated water back to the production process and also generate biogas to use as an alternative energy. Apart from going green by using waste paper as raw material, we also create values from products design. Lightweight paper is designed to reduce the usage of pulp while maintaining paper strength. We use lightweight paper together with G technology to produce green cotton, which maintain the quality of box strength while using less resource. Besides green cotton, we develop other forms of high value-added products such as recyclable merchandising displays, furniture, or paper pallet as a substitute of woods. Ultimately, we convert waste from production process into valued products. Sludge are converted into fertilizers, while paper band are sent to communities to produce woven products, generating sustainable income for them. Moreover, reusing the treated water in production process, we also irrigate to communities for agricultural purpose. SCG is committed to working towards circular economy from upstream to downstream for the sustainable development with better economy, society, and environment.
Okay, so based on what we have seen, I would say that fiber-based packaging actually is a good example of a business that is operating in a circular way. And the circularity of the packaging paper actually is not new. Normally, the packaging paper manufacturer, they use the waste and recycled paper as raw material. But the question that we have to ask ourselves, what else that we can improve? Actually, based on the slide and the presentation that we mentioned earlier, that we, in terms of technology and innovation, we, also develop a kind of proprietary technology that we can reduce the usage. I mean the thickness of the paper, and in the range of 20-25%. And at the same time, we still can maintain the strength of our packaging product. So this is something that we believe that can help reduce the usage of the raw material. In addition, actually, in terms of the packaging design, of course, we have to make a very good looking packaging. But in addition, we also offer, many functional property of the packaging. For example, that what we have shown here, the paper palette that you can see on the stage. This one can replace the wooden palette. And I think the example that what we have here is, good enough to support. Based on the number that my staff told me, this is, up to 800 kilograms. Okay, so it's quite strong. And merchandising display, this is, of course, we have to make a very good looking product. But at the same time, after they use the product, we can recycle back to produce the packaging paper again. So based on this kind of design, I think this is one way that we can improve our circular economy. Back to the circle, you can see that we mentioned about the digital platform. In the video presentation, we mentioned about some initiative. But what I would like to share that, we developed some application that, a kind of mobile application that can help connect, with our partner. Such as retail store, the waste collector. And this one, not only for convenience, the real-time data can help, improve, the way that we can, improve the efficiency of the waste collection process. So this is something that can improve circular economy. And of course, to do that, I think we need a kind of collaboration among the partner and the stakeholder. With only SCG, we cannot do that. And if we can do that, I do believe, we can extend the circular economy, model and cycle even become bigger and better. And lastly, what I would like to mention that not only the technology and innovation can improve the circular economy model, but the most crucial part, I think, will be the people mindset. I do believe that if we can educate, we can raise awareness of our people. For example, how can we separate? How can we sort, the garbage, the waste? And this one can help. And in addition, like continuous improvement mindset or sustainable mindset. And lastly, again, the collaborative mindset. This one, if we can have this kind of mindset, we not only SCG can do that. I believe that government authority, private sector, and the media and society can help and support. With this kind of mindset, I do believe that the circular economy I think we can do that even better and better. So thank you.
Thank you, ครับ So it's very clear from SCG packaging point of view, even if the business is circular already, they're trying to be more circular by applying the mindset of circular economy and mindset of collaborative approach to the business value chain, throughout the business value chain. Okay, so my observation from the first round of what you're trying to share us, circular economy is actually a very good approach because it helps us, let's say if you're doing this, it helps us understand the whole picture of our business. And then we have to prioritize what we're going to do first, and maybe what we're going to do last, but not all equally in our business. That circular economy will apply. Okay, now I'd like to go back to Dr. Antoine in terms of the challenges of implementing circular economy. If you can share with us, what are the key challenges and how you overcome them? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. To answer to your question, I think it's important to come back to our DNA of Michelin. I think you understood, I underlined during my speech that we would like to continue to offer a better way forward to people, all the while decoupling the growth in mobility from the use of natural resources. And on that sense, the key challenge for us is assessing the total impact of our activities, especially on tires, because more than 90% of our CO2 emissions are related to tires. So we need to assess all the cycle of our tire from the conception phase to the end until the end of their useful life, and it requires this reduction of the environmental footprint of Michelin. It requires a systematic approach, and it requires a strong alignment within the group and all around the world, which is key for us, in Europe, in Asia, in North America, and South America. So this is the most difficult part for us, but we can overcome these challenges. Firstly, by our in-house expertise in life cycle assessment, and secondly, by our capacity to have a strong alignment and with a robust circular economy model. And to be clear, circular economy doesn't just make business sense. Circular economy doesn't just make environmental sense. It just makes sense. Okay.
Thank you. Definitely, that is the challenge to overcome. Surendra, I think my question to you is about the radical change that you must make to make your product become more circular, because you're in the bioscience business, and you already talk about the recycle and renewable input to your operation. Is there any radical change or transformative approach that you need to take to make that happen?
I think the innovation that will bring the growth for everyone. And the Dupont is working on bringing a lot of innovative technology. But more than that, the three things I think I would see that the radical change need to be happen. One thing is the mindset or the consumer behavior, because that drives the industry or push the industry to really look into a which is more healthier, safer the products to the human being as well as for the environment. Second is that the infrastructure to really bring this kind of or implement this kind of the technologies which is based on the renewable resources as well as the recyclability of whatever we produce. I think now we normally, you can see the talk about the renewable using the raw material, but I think slightly sometimes we forget about the recyclability of all the things. So that's a radical change we need to happen in the second. And third is that everyone talks about the collaborative mindset. Okay, without that, I don't think it's easy to achieve, the circular economy. And I have shared some of the few success stories. Is definitely based on all our collaborative, the partnership with the key industry player that makes us really successful in this economy. Yeah.
Thank you. A little bit of follow-on question: how to shift the mindset of your consumer?
I think the collaborative, the collaboration of all the stakeholders, I think it's not only the industry experts or the government, but as well as NGOs, brand owners. I think that will also make, to change the consumer behavior. I think the one of the great example I can tell you that like in Australia, in the animal feed business, nowadays everyone talks about these antimicrobial the products, the AGPP products, that like anti-growth hormones products, where the Australian government has not done anything, to pursue this industry. But the two supermarkets actually that drive, to change the consumer behavior. The one supermarket had started with the AGP products in their shelf and started, marketing their supermarket that they are giving the AGPP products. And the consumer really got attracted and they started buying the product from that supermarket. And another supermarket business started going down. So they have come out with a similar approach. So you can see not only the government or all these things, but some of the other factors can influence to change the consumer behavior.
Excellent, thank you. So Jeff, Dow 2025 sustainability goal in advancing a circular economy by delivering solutions to close the resource loop in key markets. It sounds very attractive. Tell us a little bit more about this and importantly, how you measure the success, because this is the goal. Thank you.
That is our goal, and we have the goal, in fact, to deliver 6 major projects by 2025 to close key resource loops. So for us, that would mean things like feedstocks for making polyethylene. So polyethylene is one of our major businesses, and we need to have better ways of securing feedstocks. So that might mean that we collect used packaging from consumers via the appropriate channels and systems, and we turn that into feedstocks to make new materials. That's not something that's done very much today in the polymer business. Plastics recycling is done, but it's not to feed polymer production. It's to feed the production of bottles and crates and pallets and railroad ties and other durable goods typically. So that's an example of something that we're working on. Certainly being able to collect materials from what would otherwise end up in the environment is important, and being able to turn those into uses like asphalt roads is a way that we can use a significant amount of material. I did a rough estimate calculation, and if all new asphalt roads globally were to use plastic as a portion of their content, we'd be able to use up about half of the plastic waste that's currently estimated to be entering the oceans each year. So it's a significant amount of material that can be used. The way that we really measure success, though, is are we having a scalable impact, and are we implementing a project that can be scaled and replicated by others for a significant benefit to society? So it doesn't mean that we have to use all of that plastic in our production or in the production of roads, but if we can show people how to do it so that other people can take the technology, scale it, replicate it, and put it into practice at such a large scale that we're now talking about a major, major impact to society, then we feel like we've been successful. And of course that takes collaboration, it requires new technologies, and it takes some other things too. But we really look at it as having a major impact is the way that we measure success.
Excellent, that very clear and, well, interesting. Scalable impact and project or solution being adopted and enhanced by others. Excellent. So that very good measurement. Thank you. Kun Thanawong krab. So I'd like you to tell us a little bit about the critical success factor of achieving the circularity.
I think good question and also difficult question. Actually, I think I would say that the most important, again, come back to people mindset. Especially, as we have heard, from the morning, the Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Many people talking about the mindset and collaboration, among the stakeholder. I think the key issue is, how to educate. I mean, how to communicate and make sure that we can raise, awareness. In our case, you may know that we have some difficulty actually to separate the waste, and sorting those the garbage. And if we can, our people have those kind of mindset, I think this one can help improve. Actually, we have some technology, as our colleague mentioned, that we can recycle. But without those mindset, I think we may have some difficulty, to do that. But in addition, like I said, we cannot do that alone. I think again, come back to the collaboration, that what we have to make sure that not only in the company. Normally in the company we have so many departments, and we have to make sure that among our team we have a very good collaboration to help improve. But in addition, collaboration among the stakeholder in the circular economy cycle. I think this is quite crucial part, and if we can make it happen, I think this one we can make a better result. Thank you.
Thank you, Krab. So make it happen in your business ecosystem or business value chain. I think that is key. The circular mindset. So I got a few questions from the floor. They're all quite difficult. Sorry. Start with Michelin, maybe. You talk about profitable growth to be achieved through circular economy. The question is, how do you reconcile the traditional business driving for increased sales with the circular economy impetus for long life, more durable products? So basically, selling more volume of products compared to try to extend the life of your product, how you reconcile the business benefit on that. Can yes. I translate that into Thai maybe? Yeah. But I'm not going to translate your answer. ก็คำถามนะครับก็คือที่มิชลินเขาบอกว่าเขาใช้ circular economy approach นะครับในการทำให้ธุรกิจของเขาเนี่ยเติบโตอย่างยั่งยืนนะครับคำถามก็คือสมัยก่อนเนี่ยเราจะโฟกัสที่เซลล์วอลลุ่มนะครับแต่ถ้าสมมติเราไปยืดอายุงานหรืออายุการใช้ของสินค้าของเรามันขัดกับการทำธุรกิจหรือการเติบโตของธุรกิจของเราหรือเปล่า
Yes, that if company is not able to understand or to be involved in the sustainability business, they won't last very long. That's for sure. So it means that we don't have any more to target only on volumes, on quantity, but we need also to focus on high quality services, products, solutions, and not only volumes. And actually, we have experienced that. We launched what we called in the 90s green tires. At that time, Michelin decided to launch tires which last longer than the tires of our competitors. And that was a quick win, actually, because we were able to sell more, because that was clearly aligned with the consumer needs at the end. And the consumers wanted to have this kind of long-lasting performances with fuel savings. And it's something that now it creates value, not only for the company, but also for our consumers. And that's why we need to be clearly oriented to our consumers in order to provide this sustainability, this sustainable growth.
Okay, so it's the point of differentiation to your business. Thank you very much. Anyone like to add on this?
Yeah, I'll add an example to that from the plastics industry. So we've been making high-performance plastic resins that allow down-gauging of things like bags and films and bottles, so using less plastic to make the same amount of packaging for a long, long time. And when we originally started on this strategy, people said, you're crazy, you won't sell as much plastic. But I don't have people saying that in my company anymore. Now they understand the value of providing a higher value material, even if you need to use less of it, because it's what the consumer demands, it's what our customers demand, and it's good for the planet, and it's good for our business. So I think there are lots of examples that we can find where people are making higher performance materials, whether it's longer lasting tires or thinner gauge plastic bags, providing the same functionality with less raw material, so lower energy consumption, fewer emissions, less waste generation, less raw material extraction, and creating value for the companies while they're doing it.
Thank you. Maybe move to the second questions. We'll have only three tough questions. The second one seems to be not too difficult. Okay, so please jump on. Do you think which business sector has the highest opportunity to adapt the circular economy on their business, and why?
I haven't thought too much about other people's businesses. I have thought about my own businesses. And I can say that across Dow, all of our businesses have opportunities to adapt circular principles. It might be slightly different from one business to another, but I think there's opportunities in all sectors and all businesses.
Okay.
I think, hello, I would say that to me, I think anything that related to the fiber-based packaging is quite, to be circular economy by nature. So if we can, do something to add on what we're doing now, so I think we can do even better and better.
Yeah, and I think every sector is concerned actually, and maybe one example, the transportation sector, which represents around 20% of our CO2 emissions globally, is key for them, and they have no choice. They have to move forward and to change their business model.
Right.
If you have gone through the Mr. Peter presentation, the slide shows that the opportunities in the circular economy, correct? Yeah, correct. Yeah, so there are opportunities in each and every industry and any businesses. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Last one. Cleaning business should reduce resource consumption. Many products use green to bump up price. I'm not sure whether that's true. Possible to sell green product lower than traditional ones. Is it possible to sell green product lower price than traditional ones? I think that is the question.
It's certainly possible to sell them for a lower price. The question is it possible to sell them for a higher price?
Nothing to add. I agree.
Nothing to add. Okay. Because it's too. I think because your answer is very efficient. Maybe I got one more question just for my interest. Okay. I like to talk a little bit about the friction in becoming circular, right? Because to keep resource in the closed loop, sometimes we have to use a lot of fresh resources, energy, to make it closed loop. Would that be easier to make things more linear in that case? And what you think about let's say if you face with this situation, how to address this?
Yeah, we would prefer that instead of trying to make the product linear, where it's hard to do a closed loop recycle, that you do recycling into another product. So in nature, a banana peel doesn't have to become another banana peel. It becomes nutrients for the ecosystem to grow another plant. So we think that in the technical sphere, if you think back to the slide with the biological on one side and the technical on the other side, we think that technical nutrients can become part of the technical sphere to make other products. So we don't think it's necessary necessarily a requirement of the circular economy that you always make the same thing as you would in closed loop recycling, but we think that being able to use resources from one cycle to be the input for another cycle is also a valuable thing to do, and sometimes it's the more efficient thing to do. And it's important that we remember that we don't just need circular, but we also need efficient. Right, so conservation is required in addition to circularity. It's not one or the other, it's both. And so we want to be efficient in how we use our resources, our energy, our labor, our capital, our raw materials. And if the best way to do that is by turning waste from one production process into another product, then let's do that.
Right, thank you. I'm not sure whether you want to add on this?
Yeah, I would like to add here is that what he said correctly, you know, in the circular economy, we really efficiently need to use all the available resources what we have. Like example, I would like to give here is that the Sarona fiber we make, like example, the corn, we use a corn as a substrate. And if you really go only on the Sarona fiber, that may not be a really economically feasible for everyone to buy. So the producer has to think about that the corn, you can extract the starch, you can make the, by biochemical process, you can make the fiber, but then you can also extract the other components of the corn, like corn gluten, corn oil, corn meal, and which each and every, these ingredients has a certain value in the industry. So if you make as a one corn and really combine, you know, all the possible part of that corn as a product and to sell to the industry, I think this is really a feasible and economical the way to look into this. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, thank you. So think big picture or even bigger picture, because I talked to Jeff a little bit this morning before we came to the panel. He said, well, in fact, when we think about circular economy in our business, normally we put ourselves in the middle of that circle, right? But don't forget that there's more than one circle, right? And we talk about the collaborative approach, we talk about collaborative mindset, make changes in the whole business ecosystem. I think that is what we're trying to achieve. So thank you very much. I have to say thank you for our panelists to share the very deep insight about how they successfully implement the circular economy in their organization. Have to say thank you very much to SCG that organizing this event and actually bring up the topic that growing more and more interest in our society. And also have to thank very much the audience for your attention. I know that people at the back will see us, will not see us actually, maybe. And to me, I'm not going to make any closing remark because I think we do a summary throughout the whole discussion. But I like to think about what are we going to talk about circular economy in the next 2 years. This year is very much we raise awareness what it's all about and how we're going to achieve this. In next 2 years will be, I think, much more in-depth around challenges, success, and there will be more example, I guess, from Thailand in particular to share the success case. Okay, so thank you very much and thank you for all.